Before we begin the proceedings, I just want to ask you if you could just welcome us and so we can say a prayer before we have dinner. You're going to say a prayer. You put you on the spot.
All right, everybody, welcome to my house. Well, my wife is hiding in the back over there. Melly and Dara, welcome. Hope you guys feel at home. Restroom inside, food and hors d'oeuvres are inside also. Feel free to help yourselves. And then I guess I'll go ahead and say a prayer. Dear Lord, we ask you to bless Marlon and his venture and grant him all that he needs to make this happen. We ask you to bless all the people here and all the people that couldn't make it and are possibly on their way. Continue to ask for your blessings on all those in need. We ask you to bless this food tonight that we're about to receive. And we ask this in your name. Amen. Amen.
Thank you very much, Darrell. And blessings to you and Melly as well in all that you guys are dreaming of and you're challenged with. God is going to take care of it. I promise you. We have some light dinner courtesy of our friends at Jamaica Kitchen and otherwise. Cheryl couldn't be here. She's frolicking in Bermuda. But we'll catch up with her. So if you want to partake in some light dinner courtesy of Jamaica Kitchen on Sunset Drive, please do that and then we'll reconvene to have a little chat of a little politics out here in the Redlands. All right? Thank you.
Help yourself. Right, guys.
Immigrant community is rooted in the United States is integration. And integration is the phase now where you're looking at an opportunity to elect somebody who is from your community. That is when you are now fully rooted. Permanent citizenship, permanent residency for 5 years, you're eligible for citizenship. Whether through marriage, brother, sister, or other family member, or through business. Become a citizen, you become registered to vote, and you start making decisions on how decisions are made in terms of how budgets are allocated, right? Here in Southland, we are off the main from the rest of the county, right? I need to break this down for you, so I brought some show and tell because this is very, very important. Walk you through, because most people don't know. Most people don't know this, right? So maybe I can put it on a share. My good friend Peter Webley. So, if you live in Southland, raise your hand. South of Kendall Drive. Okay, most people, right? Kendall Drive, pretty much right around here, right? This is District 11. So Miami-Dade County, 2.8 million people, right? 1.4 million registered voters, right? Meaning 18 years old US citizen, registered voters. Miami-Dade County is one of 67 counties out of Florida. 67 counties. Miami-Dade County has 34 cities. You either live in a city or you live in unincorporated. Follow me, you either live in the city of Miami, Coral Gables, Hialeah, Florida City, Homestead. Those are cities, they're incorporated. In fact, Florida City was incorporated before Miami-Dade County. 1914 or 1913, Florida City. And 1913, Homestead. Miami-Dade County wasn't incorporated until 1955. City of Miami, down here, the largest city out of the 34, incorporated in 1896. It's important that you understand this because it is connected to when you arrived here in your process of acclimation, assimilation, and integration. Are you following or paying attention to what's happening with your life and who represents you in terms of the issues that you have? Right? Not when you have a problem, but when you have a dream. Right? So it's very important. So I'm running for District 9. District 9 is here. So this is the map now for District 9. I'm going to bring the other map. So there are 13 county commissioner districts. Next year you're going to be voting for a mayor, strong mayor, and then you're going to be voting for commissioners in the odd number districts. Bring this back again. Odd number districts. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, and 13. Why is that important? Because in 2012, they voted that commissioners can only serve a term of 8 years. 2012, the 8 years started, so the commissioners in the odd number districts who were already serving for several decades, including Commissioner Dennis Moss, District 9, term limited in 2020. So they're being retired by law, right? So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, and 13. Back to District 9. Now we are now enjoying our fellowship right here. Where's Daryl and Melly? Right here with the green dot. That's District 8. District 8 goes like this. The Falls, Palmetto Bay, Cutler Bay, part of Goulds, most of the Redlands. How do we arrive at these maps? In 1992, before Hurricane Andrew, Federal District Court judge said that you can't have at-large elections anymore because you need more, the folks who are minority backgrounds need greater representation. So the district court says it's a violation of the Voting Rights Act. So you are going to have single member districts. That's why you have 13 county commissioner districts. And they're drawn based on the census. The census is every 10 years. That determines the density as to where people live. The 2.8 million people are divided equally into 13 districts. So 120th Street, the north of District 9, 137th Avenue, Miami Airport. This is 152nd. Darrell and Melly are right here in District 8, but some people live and work 8 and 9 share South Dade. So it's very important that you look at your voter registration card and know who is your county commissioner. It could be Marlon Hill, or not if you don't vote. Right? So Miami Airport is here, the zoo is here. This is 184th Street, 127th Avenue, all the way down to 232. So it includes Goulds, South Miami Heights, West Perrine, Richmond Heights, Colonial Drive, Fairway Heights, Bonita Lakes, Three Lakes, Venetia Lakes. All of these communities exist. And it's my sense that these communities really don't communicate or connect with each other. That's a problem. Right? So I believe it's very disconnected internally, which contributes to the fact why it's neglected externally. Because everybody's comfortable in their little, and don't bother me. So you have some discussion in regards to incorporation. Incorporation, before you become incorporated, there has to be a process where the voters approve the incorporation. Florida City had to vote on it. Homestead had to vote on it. City of Miami, they had 12 people that were on the incorporation. 8 of them were Bahamians in 1896. They voted to start City of Miami. So if you want to start a city in the district and incorporate it, the voters in the borders, you have to go through what's called the Municipal Advisory Committee, and you go through a process of showing people money in, money out, like any business. How are you going to pay for your services? Right? Any good financial advisor will tell you, every family has a budget, you earn, and then you pay on what you need. Not what you want, what you need, right? So you have MAC A, which includes, where's Jillian and Up here, all the way down, includes where we live, near to the zoo, across the zoo, parts of Fairway Heights and down all the way down to South Miami Heights, and then you have Mac B, which is down in Naranja. But before it can become incorporated, you have to approve it. Right? So District 9 is shaped like a G. Yeah? That's the best way for me to describe it. Shaped like a G, with 120th Street at the top. And then District 8 is shaped like a C. Now, currently occupied by Commissioner Daniel Levine Cava, who recently filed to be mayor. Running for mayor, right? But her term doesn't end until 2022. But you can't run for two positions at the same time. At some point, she has to resign. That's why you may see other new candidates coming for District 8. So if you live in Palmetto Bay, which is primarily east of US 1, Palmetto Bay, Cutler Bay, Saga Bay, those are communities in District 8. But if you live west of US 1, for the most part, south of primarily 152nd Street, you may be in District 9. You may have a business in District 9, but live in 8. You may live in 8 and have a business in 9. It goes back and forth. It's important that you know who the commissioner is for where you have your business and where you live. Now, I am qualifying to run as by petition, which means I need to get 1% of the reason why we're going around asking you to sign this petition. I could easily pay the $360 and become a candidate. If Peter wanted to challenge me and say, that Marlon will not say nothing, you know, I'm gonna jump in the race. You could pay $360 and become a candidate next week. Done. And then you and I will be on a debate floor talking about issues and, yeah. Or sign a petition, 1% of the registered voters. So there are 115 registered voters here. 57% are of Hispanic descent, 30% are black, and the balance are, this is just Winnie will tell you, this is the census description of us. But this room defies the boxes of the census. I'm just telling you this. I'm going to explain. The census determines the borders. The census determines what the congressional district is going to be, what the state house district is going to be, what the county commission district is. And it's important for you to know that because it changes every 10 years, depending on density where people live. Right now there's growth here and there's growth down here. The reason why there's so much traffic because most people live here, but work where? Downtown. Right, so the legal assistant in my office from Homestead, trying to get to work to me for 9 o'clock, has to leave by 5:30, which is ridiculous. Single mom, 2 kids. I don't expect to still have her in my office because it takes 2 hours. So that's issue number 1. Traffic is something that I'm hearing on the doors that I'm knocking on. Affordable housing, like I said, we tried. We went to Coconut Grove, South Miami, kept going south. That's what we could afford. So people are going where they can afford because the prices are so high. Affordable housing is another big issue. Small businesses, huge part of the district. Trying to have more economic activity in the district is something that I'm hearing quite a bit about. And there are other issues that I'm hearing as I knock. But the primary thing that I'm hearing is that we feel neglected by the forces of county government and otherwise, and we need to change that. It's one of the reasons why I'm running. Right? I met with Commissioner Moss. He's been a good friend. He has appointed me to a number of committees over the years as a young lawyer, and he's term limited next year, and someone has to step into the gap. Right? So it's going to be a competitive election. The election is 2 dates I want you to remember. August 25th, you're going to be voting for the mayor, your commissioner, state judges. That's a very important election. August 25th, 2020. If I don't get 50% plus 1, then if I'm in the top 2, I will in the runoff in the presidential election on November the 3rd. That's the next date you need to remember. Put that on your fridge. Very important. I know all of you are watching CNN and MSNBC and listening to all the noise. But I'm telling you, do not be distracted by that because most big issues happen on the local level. $9 billion budget. $2.9 billion, bigger than most countries. Linda will tell you. The commissioner, what does the commissioner do? I make decisions on procurement, contracts, transportation issues, zoning issues. Should the urban development boundary line move or not? Water quality issues, Everglades restoration, airport, seaport. All of these are issues that a county commission is responsible for in conjunction with the mayor, who is the CEO of the county. My good friends Dennis, Chong, and Margaret Bisping, they work for the county. In District 9, there are over 3,000 county employees that live here. In District 9 alone. Why? This is where they can afford. Right? So they either leave south or they live west. Right? So the traffic problem that everybody throws up their hands about can't be fixed unless everybody decide in the family that I'm willing to put some skin in the game to fix it. Can't be fixed unless everybody in the family says, I will put some money in the partner to pay to fix the problem. So tonight, I just wanted to have the opportunity to meet and talk to you guys directly. It obviously takes resources to run a campaign, right? It's very expensive, and the campaign is going to be 15 months. Right? The maximum that any particular person can give is $1,000, or a company $1,000. It could be at one time. So Linda, you could say, Marlon, I'm going to write the $1,000 check now, or like I'm doing for myself, I'm giving myself $55.55 for the next 16 months, which adds up to $1,000. Right. Yes, Andrew. So I Optical can write a check. Andrew individually can write a check. And if he wants to give more, he can donate to a political action committee if he doesn't want to disclose that he's giving to Marlon Hill. He can do it privately and anonymously through the PAC. If Peter Webley wants to give me a check, Scotty, if you want to write me a check.
That's my question. Can I do a check and then do it as a business, Elite Sports Psychology, and
yes,
then do it as that kind of as well?
Individually. So it's $2,000.
Yeah.
You write a check, you can do it one time, you can do it in installments, and you can give all the way up to 1 week before the election.
August 20th.
August 18th, last day to collect checks. What do we spend money on? Wayne is here. I have to pay for PA system. This cost me, right? Wayne he may be hired as a staff person to work on voter outreach. I'll have to hire him as staff. I may need a campaign office. Someone may give me a campaign office because they have a warehouse space, but I have to pay for it at cost. There could be mailings that have to happen, polling. The budget is significant. So what I want you to think about before I close, and I want to take some questions, I want you to really think about Florida being ground zero to every single dramatic election. Why is that?
Because you want Trump to be impeached.
Just tell us
I love it when the passion just comes out spontaneously.
Yes.
We're going to get to him. That's a distraction, but it's an important distraction, right? Florida is all about the margins, right? Who wants it more, right? President Obama won by 1% in 2008. I worked on that election. He won by 1% in 2012. I worked on that election, right? Andrew lost by less than 0.04%. Why? Because you have to really magnify yourself. Just think about if you have 5 friends, 5 neighbors, could be neighbors or co-workers, and if you don't make sure that they're doing what they need to do, then you are impacting the margins, right? So we have 30 friends that are here. Some of you live in the district, some of you don't, right? You need to think about how can I magnify myself for Marlon, right? I know 10 people in insurance world or the sports psychology world or the finance advisory world. How can I get people to support Marlon with 2 things? Connecting me to people and to resources, right? I need petitions. So Gail took, how many did you take, Gail? You took like 5, 7 petitions here. You may know neighbors who live in District 9. Get the petitions, collect them, I'll pick them up from you. Easy, right? Get me on the ballot. And it's important because once I have the petition, I can go back to them, talk to them, meet with them, raise money with them, and engage them with the campaign. It's important. You may host a meet and greet after church. It could be a social gathering. I'm planning a domino tournament at Cariflex. I have a Lyman Reason at Faye's Place down on Queerus next week, Friday. We're going to be doing these types of things where people meet socially where they are. Nothing formal or kind of, because what I'm finding that not everybody is comfortable engaging politics. Not everybody is comfortable. So wherever you are comfortably with your social group or your civic advocacy group or your Kiwanis or your insurance industry folks, have a meet and greet. I'll come, 10 people, 5 people, and bit by bit, we will piece it together. Why? Because we're disconnected here. If I can help through you to make this district more connected, we'll be not neglected here. There's no way we can work on any big issue while we're in our little pockets. So that's why I'm running for County Commissioner in 2020. I really appreciate you guys being here today. If you want to give to the campaigns, marlonhill.com. Just go there, take out your credit card. Any number between 1 and 1,000, I want you to pick a number and just give. Don't feel away, Marlon, it's just $5. No, my brother is a, not retired, but he's a former Marine, not working. He's giving me $5 a month, and that means so much to me. You know, if he had 100 of his friends that did the same thing, $5 a month, $10 a month, up until next August is a lot of money. So I want you to just pick a number that you're comfortable with, between 1 and 1,000, from the company or from your individual bank account. And if you do that, I promise you, when you come back, we're having our campaign kickoff. I must invite you before I close at May 29th. It's also a birthday party as well, so it's going to be fun. At the South Miami-Dade Cultural Arts Center at 6 p.m. Wednesday, May 29th. Please come out. It's a fundraiser and also getting the campaign off for the summer. It's open to the public, but we would welcome you RSVP and making a donation. Thank you for being here this evening. I will take any questions. I know many of you talk about politics on the veranda all the time. Don't lie. I know this room talks about politics all the time. So any questions that anyone wants to ask about the County Commission or something that you care about?
Quick question. I understand there's talk, I think, for a city
incorporation. Yes, that is correct.
Is that correct?
That is correct. So there's, like I said, Commissioner Moss is leading the discourse on an incorporation process. So remember I said we have 34 cities. The last incorporated city in Miami-Dade County was Civics Test. Last incorporated city was Cutler Bay. Cutler Bay, down here. Cutler Bay. Last incorporated city, 2006. Right? So the citizens who live in the boundaries of Cutler Bay had to go through a process called the Municipal Advisory Committee, where they evaluate the property, commercial and residential, to determine whether or not that area could sustain itself to provide the services needed. So there's MAC A, which is over here, and then MAC B, which is down here. And that process is stalled right now, but ultimately it has to be approved by the County Commission. And if I'm a County Commissioner, everyone votes on these issues. Not one commissioner in the district couldn't just say, well, we want a city and it's just done. You get to have a chance to say, it makes sense to me. I would like to contribute to having services localized. I want a police department. I want faster response time. Different things that you make as you take yourself out of the District 9 family and create a new family. Think of it that way. It's like a spin-off. So there are 2 spin-offs that they're discussing, MAC A and MAC B. You can go online. If you just go to the property tax collector's website, and you can see all the minutes, you can see the map, you can see the budget, and most people are not paying attention to that process.
So it's not the whole District 9 that's...
It's not the whole District 9. It's a certain border. If you go to the website, and I'm happy to email it to you because this is going to be part of the campaign, is educating people as to what's happening, because I can't lead a district with people who are living in the shadows. I'll be just leading in the dark. You have to be engaged. And the fact that you're here tonight to come and hear, and whoever invited you, is an important step in that process. So you have MAC A and MAC B. And I'm happy to meet with you for coffee and explain to you where it stands and if it's going to be on the ballot next year. All right, so Commissioner Moss's term ends November 3rd, 2020. All right? Any other questions? Winnie?
I just have a quick question. Well, you talk about the petitions, so have to be the people signing is in district.
Must be registered voter, 18 years old, U.S. citizen. If you have a history of any troubles from when you were 18 with some marijuana in your pocket and you were convicted of a felony, you can apply. Last year you voted on it, Amendment 4, 67% thereabouts, that anyone with a convicted felon, if you've done your time and conditions of your sentence, you can now have your voting rights restored. So just go to registertotoflorida.gov, complete the application, and you're a registered voter. There are over 1.5 million people in Florida in this situation. And many of them are from our community and look like you and me. Any other questions? Sure.
I don't think you answered her question. That was the same question I had. That like I'm not in District 9, like I'm in.
So you can't vote for me,
That's what I'm
but you
saying.
can volunteer for me,
But
and you
like,
can
but
donate.
can we fill out the petitions?
No.
Question.
They have to be
Have to be a 9.
right. So
Okay.
if you go to if you pick up your phone right now, you go to marlonhill.com. I want everybody, if you can't have a phone, go to marlonhill.com. Real quickly, real test. I want to walk you through it. Just give me 2 minutes. marlonhill.com. Pull it up. You're gonna see, do I live in District 9? Click on that, put in your address, and it will tell you immediately, what county commission district do you live in? You will also see at marlonhill.com, check your voter status. If you move, you need to update your address. If you change your signature, you need to update your signature. Right? If you are going away to college, any of your kids, many of us have kids in here. I went to Florida State, some of our other family members, University of Florida. Request your absentee ballot. When it comes at home, you can mail it off and get it done. It's the reason why the margins are so close, because we're not focused on the things that we need to do. Very simple things. Make sure your voting status is clear. Make sure you're going to vote by mail. I do vote by mail. I do voter protection law all the time. It is foolproof as long as you follow the instructions. Boy, if he has allergies like me this week, take some Zyrtec. Vote by mail is, I do it because we're busy, comes directly at home. Carla and I will sit down. Now and then she have a couple of questions, and now and then she just like, Marlon, just tell me what you need to do. We talk about it, submit it. It's paid, the postage is paid for. You don't have that put postage on it. It's very, very easy. You can request vote by mail for every election. If you have someone who has criminal backgrounds and they have questions, just tell them to call me. Many of our people, we have over 350,000 eligible permanent residents in South Florida for citizenship. Paying taxes and don't have a say. That is unacceptable. If you're going back to Jamaica or you're going back to Trinidad or wherever you're from, then it's not going to happen. You're going to be here. Do the citizenship. You can hold 2 passports. You can hold 2 passports. Okay.
I have 2 questions.
Yeah.
So they were saying at one of the Commissioner Moss meetings that that the becoming a city is inevitable. That area.
If you make it inevitable,
Okay.
you make it inevitable. You have to vote on it.
Okay.
All the residents who are registered voters in the boundaries of the proposed incorporated area
Yeah.
must say yes or no.
So, in order to get the additional services, like you said, their own police department and stuff like that, so does the area still get the funding that we have, all the funding that we currently pay in our taxes towards that area
Yeah.
now? So then we'll raise the taxes and
Well,
that's how we
no,
get
don't raise the
additional-
taxes.
Okay.
The taxes remain the same based on what you're already paying. Then when you become incorporated, the council may vote on raising your millage rate if you so choose.
That's a property tax.
Property tax, right? Because money in, money out, right? So you may choose to say, listen, we don't want our own police department. MDPD is good. Those guys, on time, we will have you'll have what's called an interlocal agreement between your city and the county to provide police services. Your garbage will get picked up at the same time, but you gotta just look at what it is that you want. Who do you want to be? Right? The only way, in my opinion, incorporation efforts work well is when the citizens are part of the process from the bottom up, not from the top down. Right? So if you want to spin off, then you need to meet, you need to talk. And if you have communities that are over here that really not communicating with communities over here, you can't really have a collective discussion. What's the point? Right? So if Richmond Heights not talking to Country Walk, how are you going to make big decisions as a family in that incorporated area? It's not going to happen.
I know this is a whole different, you can probably talk for hours on it, but
Yeah.
give us some example. What would make being incorporated
A benefit.
a benefit versus
Unincorporated. So it's all about services that you receive, right? So someone who lives out here, like this MAC, one of the issues in the MAC B down here, they're saying is that the response time for police takes too long. Right? So they may say that by having your own city or own police department, that the response time will be shorter because they're closer to your neighborhood. It's one benefit, right? It could be code enforcement. We have an issue with illegal dumping and we need the code enforcement to be more vigilant about it. By having your own city, you have your own city manager, you have your own management staff, they're closer to your home. So it's all about the proximity of the efficiency of the services. Sometimes, and it costs more for efficiency. Are you willing to do it as a family? Then you make that decision together or not.
What makes police reaction time faster in one area versus another?
Very good
It's
question.
the same budget.
Very good question. So in Southdade, there is the tension between urban sprawl and agricultural areas, right? So if you have a police station, command center that is X number of miles away from where an incident happens, just by virtue of how long it takes to drive there, could decrease that. That's why they're building a new fire rescue near to 184th and 156 to provide closer efficiency of the services of the response time.
So the density of the population.
Density of the population, right? So decisions on where you build, not build. For example, Michael, where's Michael? Michael who? Still here? Yes, Michael who, he has a hostel down, hotel property down here, near to the busway. So there's talk about more greater density on housing and mixed use along the busway.
But
Right.
so it's based on density of population. But if we put more budget, it's not making more sense to put another police station over there.
You could decide that.
If it's, so
Correct.
who will decide that? The
People in the
commissioner on
city.
his own?
People in the city. The new city that you voted yes on could determine that. Right? So the part of the issue is that most people are not engaged in the process of asking the questions. So incorporation, let's take for example Pinecrest.
I never ever hear these conversations ever.
I hear you,
Where,
Gail.
I would have to
Gail.
go to these meetings. Like,
Well, that's why you
I
need a
don't wanna-
commissioner that makes you more connected and explaining things. Right, so Pinecrest. Pinecrest has property that, so they have more money to do with what they want. But the property is west of US 1. Same land. West of US 1. The property is west of US 1. Property value, same land, you know. Even some of the property look the same way, you know. Even some of the homes are not even as nice as the ones west, but have a different property value. Let's talk the truth, right? Why is that?
Across US 1.
Right. And even in District 8 here, and then you jump across the canal in Richmond Heights, same house, you know. But the one in the falls is worth more than the one in Richmond Heights. Why is that?
Yes, it's true.
The man says it is. That's a problem. So the way in which, you remember, you elect a property appraiser as well, you know. So they determine based on, and then you have climate change, waters are rising. I don't know if many of you know this, there's a ridge in terms of water, because all of this used to be the Everglades, you know. We're just encroaching on the alligators and the lizards' property. We're invading, and snake, and then boa constrictors and all of that. But there's a ridge in terms of the heights of the land, so that's going to be an issue as well, that you need to where your property is located.
So it might be waterfront in 20 years.
Correct. Water is rising, through the water. That's why we have the canals, the South Florida Water Management District, the governmental entity that determines when we release water, because the water is coming from Lake Okeechobee south, all the water comes south, this way. So if you have an agriculture, if you own a farm or a nursery, they're concerned, another issue, we're just talking, right? If the water level rises, it impacts the roots on the plant, on the property. For all the farmers and the nurseries here, many of our community, when we left Jamaica, we bought land primarily around here for nurseries and landscaping and other farming.
Question.
Yeah.
Do you have staff that does like your marketing, the media?
If I have staff?
Yeah.
If you have volunteers to offer, certainly, so you can help my budget, because the more resources and the less money that I'm spending out makes my campaign more efficient, right? So volunteers are good. You may have a talent. You can give in-kind resources. Let's say, Scotty, you are a master marketer and you have a marketing firm. You could donate $1,000 worth of services. And I give you a receipt, and that's equals a donation to the campaign.
The reason why my son just graduated in that field.
So we have campaign internships. If any of you have high school seniors or college students, we have a D9 called a D9 fellowship for high school students and college students for credit. They can intern with the campaign summer, fall, spring, and next summer. We have about 3 of them so far, and we're putting them to work for different things for the campaign that the campaign needs. Linda?
If you own more than one business.
Every business can give 1,000. LLC, the incorporation, the LLP, each business can give $1,000.
I asked a question for Alan.
Yes, Alan. Boy, masterful, masterful. Every business can give $1,000, right? So Anthony's Free contributed, then Joe Roden can give individually. Michael's company that owns a hotel can give a contribution, and himself individually. A young person that has a bank account, can give $5, can give $10, and you'll be surprised. You know, think about it. You're 18 and you can vote. You should be donating to campaigns. It's very important.
That was Barack was successful in his fundraising.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. If you're a U.S. citizen, if you have a U.S. citizen friend and that person is in Montego Bay, that person can give to the campaign. And we have many people like that. Permanent residents and U.S. citizens all over the Caribbean, back and forth from Miami, they can donate to the campaign. Any other questions? Dawn's here. She made it. Thank you. Another co-host, Dawn Campbell. Thank you for being here. No other questions or curiosities. I know that we don't have these conversations enough. You can bet your bottom dollar that I'm going to be walking around with my show and tells, because I think it's very important that you understand how the run-ins, how it works. $9 billion budget, 13 county commissioners. We make recommendations on how we're going to spend the money on the things that you care about. And if you don't speak up, then the people who do will eat what's on the menu.
Yeah.
Bottom line. Dennis.
Just as an observation, just like everyone sort of touched that, I just say representation is important. In that Commissioner Moss has held the seat for 23 years. Wow. And in our community,
26.
26, that's right. Our community has been
Neglected.
to say the
True.
So, having someone like Marlon in office would increase our visibility, our opportunities, business-wise, everything. What we have a say in how Miami-Dade County spends money in our district.
And it's all about, thank you for that, Dennis, it's all about access, right? So you may not have an issue until you have a problem. Why are you going to wait till you have an issue and you have a problem? If you're planning an expansion of your business, you're trying to get more customers, you need to figure out how to lessen the time of travel. These are ideas that you can present, and my job as a county commissioner is to figure out how to turn those ideas into policy and to put the policy in the budget. It's that simple. Idea to policy to budget to execution of the check.
Marlon, I have a recommendation. Give Dennis 100 of those farms. Tell him to take them to the league that we're playing tomorrow.
Yeah.
Everybody that playing that football league live in that district.
I'm sure.
The Yankee about
I'm
it.
sure.
Yeah.
So I have,
All of them can
I have extra petition forms here.
If you don't sign the form, you can't play.
You don't sign the form, you can't play. Wickedness.
Dr. Hamilton, again, has delegated superior intellect.
I know I'm not waking up tomorrow, but you will be there.
I'll come out there to play. I'll come out there to play. Yeah, Joe. And then come to you, Wally. Joe.
Yeah, okay. Do you know how many candidates are up?
Yes. In my district?
Yes.
Okay. So I won't talk about the other districts. You know the odd number seats, right? District 9, 2 candidates filed so far. This is all sunshine information, so we're not talking any real secret business, right? Reverend Mark Coates, he is a pastor from Goulds, down here, right? You have Johnny Farias, who is a activist from Homestead, down here. And then expected to run as well is this State Representative Keon McGee. He represents in Tallahassee, a sliver of District 9 here. He's expected to run. We don't know who else. You can, if you wanted to be a candidate, you have up until June next year.
$260, right?
Yes.
The other question I have, you mentioned in your opening remarks that 57% of the
Right.
population in your District 9
Right.
is Hispanic.
That's correct.
How do you plan to...
Talk to them like I'm talking to you. I'm meeting with them, I'm going to them. I'm going to be in their media. I do speak some Spanish, quite a bit. But even if I didn't, you got to show up, you got to knock on the door, you got to introduce yourself. I said, my name is Marlon Hill, and can you sign my petition? And we have a conversation. We did it the other day, for the first time, and great conversations. And some people open the door and some people don't, right? And so I'm going to be doing that to communities. Some I know and some of them I don't know. So I went to a Catholic church when I first came here. I mentioned that I went to St. George's College, so Catholic church is a big part of my life. So Carla and I got married at St. Louis, and then sometimes we go part-time to Christ the King, which is the same church where Joe goes to. But the first church was St. Joachim, which is located right behind St. Anne's Nursing Home. That's the church that I first went to, mostly Spanish. So I've had a relationship with these communities for well over 25 years. I do some immigration law, so I've been working with those organizations. So it's not an overnight relationship where I have to struggle with, right? It's just a matter of going out, being genuine, asking questions, letting them know that you have the ability to just represent them, to be their voice, whether you look like them, sound like them, eat like them, dance like them, worship like them. It really doesn't matter. People just want to know, are you going to answer my phone call when I call with an issue or have an idea and follow up with me and get back and get it done? That's it.
So, how is the current Commissioner Moss relationship with that Hispanic community? Do you know?
Yeah, I do know. And Peter will...
I don't really want to put you on the spot.
No, man, it's public record.
Yeah.
You're not putting me on the spot. It's clear public knowledge that Commissioner has gotten elected primarily by the communities on the east, all the way to Florida City, right? So he hasn't really had to reach out and work for those relationships. Let's be honest about it. And it's just politics, right? But I think it's not necessarily good politics. It's the reason why people feel neglected. And it's the reason why there needs to be a change, in my opinion, because community is disconnected because we are segregated, Joe. Think about it. We are segregated. We profess to be multicultural and cosmopolitan and diverse and all that, but we're really not. So that's a problem. Whenever you have big issues, you can't lead a community or make big issues when the community is disconnected. And I plan to, part of my life's work is connecting people. Tell the truth. Anybody that knows me, I have been doing that. And that's what I plan to do in terms of helping to bring the communities together so that, incorporated or not, Gail, that's what I plan to do. But I want you to really do some homework on the incorporation issue. Going to the meeting, you probably went reacting to it as opposed to really studying it. And I don't think that the community has enough information on the incorporation. And I give you 10 doors that I knock on. If I get one person that's passionate about it, I'll be surprised. Most people are Whether I go to Richmond Heights, whether I go to Three Lakes.
Well, that's all we got was one card in the mail.
No, we got a few. There were 2 meetings.
Yeah. Wally, you had a question?
No, it wasn't a question, just
Pontificated statement.
yeah. I am really excited about it.
Thank you, Wally. Appreciate it, man.
I've had the opportunity to work in Broward with our fellow Jamaicans.
Right. And you felt neglected down here.
Yes, yes. And so I'm excited that I have someone I can work with.
Excellent.
And someone who I see can represent us, can talk the way we talk. Because every other community in the county
Has that person represented. I hear you.
The Asians have representation.
Right.
The Cubans have, Hispanics have representation.
Yeah.
There are enough of us here. It's about time. I mean, the time is really now. We understand that it was right before.
And the numbers are really so high, Wally, because, and Winnie Tang right here, she's a member of the U.S. Census Steering Committee. When you fill out the census and they come knocking on your door, and you fill it out and you put your name, Eleanor, and you put, yes, African American Black. You have to write in your nationality. Otherwise, they don't know how many Black Jamaicans there are. If you're Chinese, you're Asian American, you put Jamaican because you've never been to Shanghai. You may have visited or have extended family, but you need to write your nationality. Carla is going to put Black, and she should write Trinidad and Tobago. It's important to know that, right? Black, Haitian, because decisions are made. How can I communicate to Haitians if I don't know where they are? If it's just Black people, it's just a blank slate. But if 50% of those people they said that they're Haitian, then you spend money on Haitian radio, you spend money on Caribbean Today newspaper, right? Peter gets contracts based on the census demographics because he's speaking to a particular audience that's reading the newspaper. The only way for them to know when they spend money with the Chinese newspaper, because they know that there are folks who speak English, but they also speak Mandarin. They may be Chinese, but they are from a particular nationality, Taiwan, etc., etc., etc. You have to write in the country. It's very, very important. And the census is coming up. Why? Because the census has to do with money, dollars. Where do you send the money? You must be counted. Everybody knows whether they are documented or undocumented. This is also very important. Cases in the Supreme Court right now.
Yeah.
Supreme Court, whether or not to ask decisions requested. It's ridiculous.
But the only one thing is very important is that the Census Bureau, we are bounded by Title 13. The privacy and confidentiality is number 1. So
The information that you give cannot be disclosed.
the fear is that we are immigrant community. Our back home, our government is in charge.
Yes.
But in the United States, is in a way yes, but still a lot of balance and check. And Census Bureau is the only department connecting with other departments, but it's really isolating to giving all the statistic information coming out, not the personal identification information. So this is the thing we have to go out to the community to let the community know, not to fear about the answer. If the question in there, not to worry about that question. Just like the information is not going to be saying that who and who live in that address. Only like number of the people, the age, and the income, and whatever, that statistic information.
Absolutely.
Like Marlon saying about it, really important. It's like how many Jamaican living in Homestead area. If you filled out African American without filling out the subcategory, you don't know. So they will not have the representation for your own community.
I did the census 2010, I did it in 2000, African American Black Jamaican. It's very important because my congressional district, when the Jamaican government pulls the census numbers, they can tell, do I need an extra consulate office in this state? Yes, because Jamaicans are noted on that. That's how they make decisions on that. So I'm going to close now. 3 things I need you to remember. I need you to do the 3 things. Please, if you ever forget, go to marlonhill.com. I need you to sign up to volunteer, help out with something. I'm going to ask Sandra and some other people to, throughout the next 15 months, you could be making phone calls, you could be helping me knock on doors, you could be hosting a meet and greet. There are a number of things that you can do. Just go to marlonhill.com and then sign up. The second thing is, you may have brought a check tonight, payable to Marlon Hill campaign, or when you go home, pull out your credit card, go to marlonhill.com, donate button. You're going to pull out your debit card, and you're going to say $5 to Marlon. I came with Mommy and Daddy. I like what he has to say. He works with young people. He's giving young people an opportunity. I'm going to give him $5, right? Okay. Right? That's what you're going to do with the credit card. Any amount from the company or from the company 1, company 2, company 3, company 4 can donate, right? And then the third thing is, are all my friends and family registered to vote? Very, very simple. You go to my website, check the voter status, you go to that link, download the form, print it out, sign it, send it in, you're done. Update your address. It's very, very simple. Request your absentee ballot. Because next year, I don't want to lose on August 25th by 1%.
No.
Right? August 25th, I've already reserved the location. Wayne. I've already reserved the location for, I'm going to kick off the campaign there on Wednesday, and I'm going to end it there on August 25th. And I don't want to be in another election on November the 3rd. Because that election I'm going to be bacchanal and really rough. November the 3rd presidential election. I don't want to be in that. But if I can win on August 25th, if you do those 3 things for me, I promise you, we're going to be celebrating on August 25th. So thank you for coming out here this evening. Appreciate it, Daryl and Melly. Thank you very much. Give them a hand, please. Thank you very much. So Wayne, we're going to go back to some networking, and if you have to go and enjoy the rest of your festivities for the evening, I know Joe and them will be right behind you. And my phone number is there, cell number, direct, text me, call me, and the email address is on the card. If you don't get a response within 24 hours, something is wrong. Call the police. Knock on wood.